Thank you. I'm here to deliver information to you, and the choice is yours. You don't have to grasp everything, nor do you need to remember it all. If something you hear sparks your curiosity and you think, I need to go home and look into this properly, I shouldn't run my business this way. If even a small shift in thinking happens, then my 12-hour flight to get here was absolutely worth it. Because when you look at Atomy's information objectively, those with a bit of understanding won't fail to grasp it. They will get it. They will realize, this is truly an opportunity for me. But turning that understanding into action is a tough process. Because even if I understand a little, when I talk to those around me, most of them don't get it. I was one of those people too. The reason I initially rejected Atomy wasn't because there was anything wrong with it. Because I didn't know anything about it. I just assumed it wasn't something I should be involved in. That fixed mindset made me reject it and refuse to listen. Even if you understand Atomy, when you talk to someone about it, you'll inevitably experience the same emotions I did. Especially in countries like New Zealand and Australia, where social security is well established, this is even more true. So, for you to have come this far despite being in a much more challenging environment, and to have understood Atomy enough to attend this leaders' meeting, is truly remarkable. You absolutely deserve to be praised, even more so than Koreans. So, as long as you don't worry and stay consistent, the results will surely reward you. Since this is something that naturally takes time, as long as you remain persistent, the results will undoubtedly come back to you. It all depends on how consistently you keep going, rather than expecting immediate results. Even if at times it feels disappointing, staying consistent is key. Keep this in mind as you move forward. As you've heard in lectures and various seminars time and time again, Atomy, it is a revolutionary force reshaping the history of distribution. It's a distribution company, a network marketing business, and an online shopping mall all at once, yet it operates with a completely different approach. It's the first company of its kind in the world. People may struggle to fully grasp it when you explain it to them. Keep that in mind from the very beginning. One of the key questions I keep asking in my lectures is this: do you truly want to become wealthy? Do you truly have the burning desire within you to gain freedom, both financially and in terms of time? Or are you just following along because others are doing it? Have any of you ever approached someone who is genuinely living that life? Someone you consider truly wealthy? Is there anyone here who asked, how did you become rich? Or have you just thought about it? I want to be rich. No, if you truly want to be wealthy, aren't you curious about how to actually achieve it? Are you not curious? Or do you just like the idea of being rich? How did you become rich? 9 out of 10 people who do answer usually say this. First, they say they were lucky. Second, they say you can never become truly wealthy just by earning a salary. Instead, they built a business with a great idea. But even more important is the third point. I couldn't have succeeded alone. There was always someone who recognized my potential and someone who helped me. That's how I achieved great success. Now, think about this from the perspective of those of you who have studied Atomy and are now building your Atomy business. Choosing Atomy as a business tool capable of transforming your life is an incredible stroke of luck. Countless people reject this opportunity, but you have chosen to accept it. And that is an extraordinary fortune for you. Secondly, the business item you have chosen is essential daily necessities that people repurchase voluntarily, ensuring continuous demand for Atomy. Even in times of war or economic downturns, sales will continue to happen. And you have secured a product that you can confidently promote. So, the 2 key reasons for your success are already in place. The third point is crucial. The third key point is that in Atomy, you need many people who recognize your potential and support you. This includes an unlimited number of sponsors and partners all around the world. So, if you can simply find the right way to enable others to help you, then achieving 100% success in Atomy is absolutely possible. Now, I have connected the stories of successful individuals to Atomy and considered how they relate to you, proving why your success is inevitable. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? If you can get people to support you, then success is guaranteed. What kind of person would attract such sponsors to come to them and make partners want to work alongside them? What kind of person do you think that would be? Being a good person alone isn't enough. If you want to be successful, Just being a nice person won't cut it. There are plenty of good people out there. Think about how many kind and decent people surround you. Of course, these people may have a lot of friends around them, but that doesn't necessarily make them productive or effective. I'm going to revisit one of the closing remarks from this success event. You need to go beyond just being a good person. You need to be absolutely obsessed. When others look at you and unanimously say, "That person is crazy about Atomy," that's when you know you're on the right track. When that happens, the structure naturally forms where like-minded people are drawn to you. Let's talk specifically about how someone who is truly obsessed approaches the Atomy business, what kind of actions they take, and the attitude they carry. This business that you seem obsessed, or at the very least, you must act as if you are. The reason is simple: duplication. In Atomy, those who achieve system income succeed through duplication, and true obsession is what makes duplication possible. If your partners are just as passionate, if they work with the same level of intensity and dedication as you, then your success is inevitable. And if you are truly committed, once you find one or two people who share that passion, bringing in 3 or 4 more becomes even easier. Atomy as a company has already been proven. The fact that you've come across it is a stroke of luck, and the products have already been verified. So in the end, your success in this business is entirely determined by the attitude you bring to it. The key to your success lies in how you perceive Atomy, your mindset, and the thoughts you carry as you build this business. That is the most crucial factor in determining your success. And once you have the right mindset, all you need to do is follow the system that Atomy has already established, consistently applying the 8 steps to success and duplication. How will you implement the 8 steps to success? How will you manage 8 core? Atomy as a company has developed and operates a global education system to support you. So as you continue to attend seminars and organize your own meetings, as you keep learning and applying these principles, you simply need to follow the exact path that successful people have already walked. Everyone utilizes the system, but the speed of their business growth depends on the attitude they bring to it. Atomy is creating a new history for you. It is the only company in the world that distributes money to individuals, operating through a network marketing model. This is why it is considered an independent business. And those who truly understand the concept of being an independent business owner, IBO, are the ones who build their business the fastest and most stably. So, those who see this as their own business ultimately understand that, because both lines belong to them, they must take the lead in building them to achieve the most stable and fastest success. People with this kind of mindset are the truly driven ones. And in the end, it is these people who attract sponsors and bring partners along with them. So, if you are relying on your sponsor for your business to succeed, that is a very risky mindset. If you work hard, your growth will inevitably push your sponsor to take action. And because, at its core, this is an individual business, sponsors will naturally focus on building their own smaller lines. Holding onto them won't change anything. So, if you've been running your business depending on your sponsor, you'll eventually feel dissatisfied and lose interest. As a result, the relationship will deteriorate. And before you know it, you could find yourself losing grip on your business entirely, a truly serious situation. So, from the very beginning, you should start with the mindset that you need to build 2 lines yourself. But if your sponsor helps you out a bit, then you should be truly grateful. Even if they don't help, I am so grateful to my sponsor for introducing me to this business. This mindset is the key to achieving success the fastest. Honestly, if this concept truly sinks into your mind, if you fully accept it, and if you realize that your current situation makes complete sense because of it, then your Atomy business is already set for success. This is my perfect business. My sponsor is simply a person who gave me this valuable information, and I am the one who sets a plan to earn 100K per month. So what problem could there possibly be for someone like that? There is absolutely no problem. But the thing is, while I started Atomy diligently and grasped everything within just 3 months, there are also those who take 3 years or even 5 years to fully understand it. I myself wasn't even considering doing Atomy, so I didn't listen at all. But then, 6 months after hearing about it, after truly listening, I dedicated 3 months to intensive study before I ever spoke to anyone about Atomy. And then, throughout my journey in this business, not even for 0.1% of a second did I ever doubt that I would become an imperial. Even in the early days, when I faced constant rejection, had no results, and nothing seemed to be working, I still declared with absolute conviction that I would become an imperial. So, what do you think happened? Wouldn't people have thought that a crazy person had appeared? No one had even taught me, yet I was claiming that I would build 2 lines. And I kept declaring that I would reach imperial no matter what. At that time, I was just an agent. Even now, my wife tells me that I was lying to myself. But honestly, not even 0.1% of me ever considered the possibility of failure. I truly swore to myself, and I meant it. I don't know why such a strong belief took hold of me. When that belief takes hold of you, this work becomes incredibly exciting, and you feel completely proud of what you do. Wouldn't it be great if your sponsor helped you build your business? But if you think you don't need a sponsor, I will build 2 lines myself. And you take that approach, help from your sponsor will naturally come. But the thing is, the crisis I faced and the fact that I came to understand it, from a Christian perspective, it wasn't something I realized on my own. It was revealed to me by grace. I didn't understand it before, but now I do, and I'm thankful. And when it comes to sales, I go out there myself. For me, when I was advancing in mastership, my sponsor tried to stop me, but I did it myself. They refused to help. I said I'd do it myself. That's how it was. I achieved sales like that. Then, when I was preparing to go for Sharon Rose Master, my sponsor at the time was Lee Soon-hee. They were a star master, and they tried to stop me from going. Said I wasn't ready yet. So, after failing to convince them, I went and sought out a higher sponsor, Imperial Master Lee Ha-jung. At that time, they were a royal master. They asked me why, saying it would be easier if we went together, so why was I insisting on going alone? So I explained that I needed to give lectures. My partner was preparing for Sharon Rose Master, and as a business person, I absolutely had to be there. I explained my reasons. I didn't want to fall behind, and I knew I could do it. But then she said, fine, but no one will help you. So I said, okay, if no one helps me and I still have a reason to go, then I'll go. That's how I got permission and went to Sharon Rose Master on my own. This is how it happened. Unless my sponsor above me was a fool, there was no way they could ignore me. When I first started, I was placed on the right side of someone who wasn't working, so I had no presence at all. If I hadn't thought of this as my own business and instead complained about my position, I wouldn't have taken action, and my sponsor wouldn't have noticed me. You need to embrace this and take action. And if you're going to do business anyway, you can't just do it half-heartedly. You need to have this kind of determination. When I first started, I knew that my sponsor would come to me and that partners would join me based on the actions I took, and I was willing to endure the hardships that came with it. I took that challenge head on. When challenging mastership and you were told let's go together, I said no, it's okay, I'll handle it on my own. I've said that before. Have any of you ever said that? Even when you could maintain your mastership, but your sponsor was challenging, you've thought, I don't think I can do it. I need a few more points. Have you ever said something like that? Relationships, especially in business relationships, when someone is challenging mastership, for example, your partner, it's not even a big deal. But if you say, I'm going to challenge mastership, and they respond, all right, I'll take care of my mastership myself, you go ahead on your own. At that moment, what kind of attitude do you think that sponsor will take? Look, I might say, it's fine, but the moment I respond that way, I've already realized that the points they were going to give me will come back to me tenfold, even 100-fold. I'm here because I'm determined to succeed. So the real question is, how do you truly win over people's hearts? In that moment, it might feel like you're taking a small loss, but the moment you win someone's heart, you'll gain back 100 times more. Honestly, this is quite a deep and philosophical concept, but the moment you truly grasp this, the speed of your business, the growth of your team, everything will accelerate tremendously. When you can confidently say, I'm fine with this, I'll handle it myself, it's proof that you see this as your own business, that you have full ownership of it, and that you are in control of your organization. Even if your sponsor moves up in rank, you take responsibility, saying, I'll do what I can, so you focus on handling what you need to. If you can say things like this, your sponsor will likely do everything they can to stay with you until the very end. I approach this with that exact mindset. So, back when Imperial Lee Deok-woo was a royal master with no presence at all, I wasn't even an agent. He was somewhat completely unnoticed. But now, he plays golf with me regularly, and his mastership is constantly connected to mine. Discussions happen, and when I move up in mastership, other Imperial masters like Lee Haijong adjust their positions accordingly. Everything revolves around me. Who do you think the top sponsors ask first when they need to maintain their mastership? But before they even ask, I inform my sponsor every 15 days about my mastership, what I'm planning, and what I intend to maintain. So if I can, I will give my absolute best to my business because, in the end, that is the way for my sponsor and my entire organization to thrive. And ultimately, that energy comes back to me in an incredible way. Now, the third point, why do you think I do this? Yes, look at this. I do it this way because it gets duplicated. Because I lead by example, my partners come to me and tell me when they plan to reach their next mastership. Even when I tell them not to rush because they're not ready yet, they still keep coming to me, asking when they should advance, which month they should aim for. They say they can figure it out and move forward on their own. Do you think I'm just making this up? There's evidence right there. Right now, Sharon Rose Jung Sung Kyum keeps pressing me, asking when they'll reach Star Master next. They are currently at the Sharon Rose, but they need to reach Star Master, and they are asking why I haven't given them the timing signal yet. They are aiming towards Star Master, so they need the exact date. Since I haven't given them the signal, they've followed me all the way here, through Australia and New Zealand. They're saying they're ready to go at any moment. Since I'm leading the way, they don't even need points. And there are many others just like them, all lined up. At first, it might have seemed like I was doing this alone, like I was struggling to build 2 lines by myself. But I knew from the beginning that it would turn out this way. If you understand this early on and take action, how smart would that be? Then, right from the start, this becomes such an exciting journey, something to be truly grateful for, with appreciation that just keeps growing. And soon, more and more people will join. Then, the people around them will wonder, what's so exciting? And the moment they take one step into it, they get completely hooked. And if you work hard on your Atomy business and use a lot of skincare products, your face will definitely change. Plus, if you take health supplements, you'll feel full of energy. Then, people who used to look weak and sluggish will have others wondering, what's making them so excited? Or they'll start thinking, is there something special about this? They need to get curious. The people around you need to feel that curiosity. Actually, my challenge for Crown Master this time originally started because Crown Master Park Mi-young challenged for Imperial and asked me to go with her. So, I got everything ready. But suddenly, Park Mi-young had something personal come up and decided to postpone, which left me wondering what to do. I had already decided to go, but since we couldn't go together, I hesitated, wondering whether I should still go or not. I had a brief moment of doubt. If we went together, I could get some support and make the journey easier. There'd be a lot of help when aiming for Imperial right. After all, it comes with a lot of financial rewards. But then, I asked my partners. At that moment, they were all ready and standing by. They said we had to set off. So that meant I had to put everything else on hold and go. But listen, achieving a high mastership isn't just about achieving when you want to. When your partners, who see you as their sponsor, truly want to push you up to the next level, that's when you naturally rise. I also have groups on both sides, and of course, each one is different. It's not like both sides are running on autopilot perfectly. But among them, there was one Star Master who, in my eyes, was still lacking in many ways. Yet, they were determined to push forward with full force. So I asked them, why is it so important for you to go this time? What moved me was what they replied with. They said they had to go because I was aiming for Crown Master. So I said, okay, in that case, I have to go too. Even if it's tough. And when I went, everyone was happy, and the company was even happier. Anyways, if my achievements have inspired many people, then that truly makes it all worthwhile for me. All the hardships I went through were worth it. But what I realized at that moment was, not only were my true partners and brothers congratulating me, but so many other partners were congratulating me, and I was absolutely taken aback by that. These people aren't even my partners. So why are they so ecstatic? Why are they so excited about my mastership? So I felt the urge to reach Imperial quickly, to bring even more joy. Looking at the speed and momentum of the partners below me, I don't think I have any choice but to move fast. The key message I want to share today, the important lesson, I initially accepted taking a small loss. In other words, from the very beginning.
I set my goal to become an Imperial earning 100K a month, and I committed to handling the first 2 weeks myself. Even when my sponsor
Brought up points, I said it was fine. I'll handle it myself. This was what allowed me to pick up speed. Looking back, the loss I took wasn't just repaid tenfold, it came back to me 1,000 times over as energy and momentum. The truth is, when it comes to your business mindset, thinking of it as your own business, even if we think this 100 times, it wouldn't be too much. We need to talk about the second attitude. The second key is that you must consistently maintain a positive mind. Holding on to absolute positivity is crucial. That's because, in the end, it gets duplicated. Now, everyone, whether it's your company, your products, the compensation plan, or your sponsor, when you talk about things, especially complaints, those negative comments actually spread much faster than the positive ones. So, the moment you speak with emotion, saying things that come from a bad mood, your business starts heading in the wrong direction. That's why, if you're someone who's gathered here to build a business, you need to always be mindful and alert about how your words might affect others when you speak. But because we are not used to this kind of business, people tend to really enjoy just saying whatever they want when they gather. At first, it's people you know well who gather, local church members, friends, neighbors, just chatting away, saying whatever comes to mind. Without even realizing it, they start voicing complaints, not knowing that they are actually steering their business straight towards failure. But before you started this Atomy business, wasn't it so much fun to just gather comfortably and gossip behind people's backs? Just chatting away like that. Back when you weren't working and were just at home, you'd gather for coffee or a meal, and most of the time it was all about complaining about your husbands or bragging about your grandchildren. Now, while the bragging might be harmless, the problem was how easily you'd slip into gossiping about others. So, you need to always keep in mind that this isn't personal, it's business. Set your emotions aside and treat it like a professional endeavor. While you're running your business, holding back and being mindful of what you say is, in many ways, one of the key secrets to your success. There's a well-known saying about this. If you speak badly about someone, even if it's just between the two of you, anyone who overhears it can be dragged down with you. While you're doing Atomy, no matter the situation, you must have the mindset to avoid speaking negatively. This has to be ingrained in you. The truth is, Atomy is a business where each person is running their own business, and every situation is different. With a binary structure, it's inevitable that there will be a left and a right side, and because of that, along with factors like who registered first or later, conflicts are bound to arise. So you need to acknowledge that and go back to point number 1, this is my business. But you need to decide whether you'll go through the hard yards now or later and push through those conflicts. No matter what, as you continue with this business, the left-right balance will inevitably shift, and your sponsor and partners are all interconnected. So even if I'm not the perfect sponsor, you need to hold on to the belief that they would never intentionally do you harm. You must have that trust. Because the structure of Atomy is designed to expand infinitely, your success is directly tied to your partner's success. And because that's how it's built, even if you don't fully understand the process, you need to trust it and keep moving forward. That is a wise attitude to have. And because this work involves doing things that are new to both sides, mistakes are bound to happen simply because we are not used to it yet. Whether it's the sponsor making a mistake or the partner pointing it out directly whenever possible, that won't help your business. Now, from your perspective, you may be absolutely certain that you're right and feel the need to point it out, but the other person will never see it that way. So instead of pointing it out directly, help them realize it on their own. or have someone else mention it indirectly, like a sponsor or someone else bringing it up. You need to help them come to that realization themselves, like saying, I heard Kim Boum Soo mention that, so it feels like it's coming from someone else. No matter how right you are, pointing it out won't change that person. You need to understand, the moment you point it out directly, not only will they not change, they might walk away altogether. If that happens, my business shrinks, doesn't it? You're someone who's aiming to earn $100,000 a month through this Atomy business. And that income doesn't come from just selling products. It comes from the emotional labor you endure and push through. That's what earns you $100,000 a month. So the way you view Atomy must always be aligned with that understanding. You must stay absolutely positive, don't speak negatively, and make a conscious effort not to even listen to negativity. So during the time you're seriously studying whether or not to commit to Atomy, once you've reached conviction, from that point on, you must not keep looking left and right. I'm someone who's going to earn $100,000 a month. That's my ultimate goal. Then, you need to make every effort to remove any obstacles standing in the way of that goal. Whether I take a financial hit or suffer emotionally, I accept that as part of the process. That training, that mindset, is the very process through which your business grows. In the end, it's your unwavering belief in success. I will absolutely become an imperial who earns $100,000 a month. With Atomy's structure, it's inevitable. That conviction is what solves every problem you face and determines how your organization grows and spreads. As you dive deeper into Atomy's marketing, you'll come to realize that these are essential daily products that naturally lead to repeat purchases. Once you're convinced of that, you must also believe that if it's good for you, it'll be good for others too. Right now, Atomy is expanding across 57 countries worldwide, and as the membership grows, even better products will be added to our site at even lower prices. That means our business can't help but grow. This belief must be solidified through your own consumption. That's exactly why we run an unconditional two-line binary system with infinite depth. So, all you need to do is keep taking action and wait until someone better than you comes along. If you do that, success is inevitable. Because of the income ceiling, it's not just you who succeeds. Those who join after you can succeed too. That's why we keep going down endlessly until someone better than us appears. When a fire-up happens, it unleashes incredible power that allows everyone in the middle to rise up. Don't try to change those partners whose mindset doesn't align with yours and who you desperately want to transform through training. Keep going all the way down to find someone who quickly understands, and when you fire them up from there, they'll start to change on their own. They'll be driven, almost madly, by their own desire to succeed, and they'll take action themselves. So don't cling too tightly to the partners who aren't yet ready to be trained. Don't waste your energy trying to persuade and educate them. Don't get bogged down. Instead, while continuing to train new people, you need to focus on finding those underneath who truly understand this. What do you think gives someone the highest chance of deciding to commit and fully immerse themselves in this as their own business? Do you think it's when they hear a talk at a seminar and go, wow, this sounds like a decent business, and make their decision just like that? Do you really think that's likely? Or do you think it's more effective when one line starts growing rapidly, points start piling up, and they think, wow, even just building one line could work? As a sponsor, I need to give it my all to create that kind of environment. And even if the environment is thriving, if you can't find the right person, it won't matter. So if I'm maintaining my mastership and pushing forward, and points are being added underneath, that's what you'd call artificial points. But even that has an effect. Because in this business, when it looks like something's really moving, people start paying attention. They get the illusion that they only need to build one line, and suddenly they are filled with the desire to grow that one line even more. Even though the sponsor keeps saying you need to build 2 lines, some people stubbornly stick to just one. But the moment the points shift, they suddenly start building the second line. I was one of those people. Me? When I first started this business, If I had just followed my sponsor's advice to build both left and right from the beginning, then by now, I would have progressed much faster than I have now. I always emphasize the importance of building two lines, but in reality, it's not that easy. Honestly, someone who manages to build two solid lines right from the start, they are a genius. A real genius. But someone who ends up building two lines by chance, they are just lucky. You might not fully understand it now, but as time goes on, it'll make sense. The truth is, there's no such thing as a free ride in this world. The principle is silence. To become someone earning a passive income of $100,000, you will absolutely have to pay the price through effort and dedication. That journey requires sacrifice. The only question is, will you struggle now or will you struggle later? But even that isn't really your choice. It's already been decided. But looking back now, going through the hard times when you knew nothing, just pushing through it, turns out those people grow so much more in the end. Only those who endure that stage truly make it. Most people, though, they just give up on their own. They get frustrated and stop, even when help is right there. So many people end up missing their chance because of that. But if you can learn to embrace the struggle you are going through right now, you can become one of the fastest to succeed in Atomy. The truth is, in this business, the key is maintaining your passion consistently. But that's not always easy, is it? When you're at a seminar, the moment you hear something and it clicks, your passion flares up. But then, as you start talking to others and they keep saying no, that fire quickly dies down. That's why it's so important to keep that passion alive. You need to have your own way, your own method, to maintain that energy and tension that fuels your drive. In Korea, there are weekly seminars and monthly success events, so even if your energy dips a bit, you can go and recharge. But here, you need to have your own plan in place. But fortunately, we are living in an incredible era where the entire world is connected through the internet. As long as you put in the effort, you can absolutely keep listening to videos, and both you and your team can maintain that energy. You must not forget that. So when you're doing Atomy, you can't just settle at a moderate level and feel like you're working hard at Atomy. That's not enough. You need to push yourself all the way to the point where the people around you are drawn to your energy. That's the level of effort you need to put in yourself. In the end, even though we already understand it, the other person doesn't, so we keep getting rejected. And that's why you need to stay persistent and keep going steadily. But that process can feel incredibly tedious, because you can't immediately see the results of your efforts. But that's the fate you must overcome. That's what it takes to earn $100,000 a month. So when you try to convince someone all at once, thinking, I'm the one providing the information, and I'll persuade them in a single shot, that mindset is exactly what makes sticking with this work consistently so difficult. You may understand it, but the other person doesn't. So when you speak, do it lightly, with the mindset that their reaction might not be positive. If you approach them with that kind of mindset, they'll be grateful. Even if that person says no, it won't hurt me, and if they say yes, great. So if you go in without expecting them to say yes from the start, and just speak lightly, you'll be able to meet and talk to many more people. But when you approach someone with the mindset that you have to give them information and they must listen to you, that's when all the overthinking begins. That's why, whenever I share information about Atomy, I always start by saying, you don't have to do the business. That's how I recommend approaching it. Then, from that person's perspective, if they feel that I'm not trying to push them into doing the business, they feel completely free to just use the products. When someone first comes to me, they might be tense, thinking, this person probably wants to get me into Atomy. But if I say, hey, you don't have to do the business, just use the products, then suddenly their guard drops. They go, all right, I'll use the products enthusiastically. And then, if they become interested after using them, do you know what they say later if you keep telling them not to do the business? They go, hey, why are you doing it but telling me I can't? That's how they respond. Even though deep down you want them to join when you meet them, just because you say don't do it doesn't mean they won't if they truly want to. They absolutely will. No matter how hard I try to persuade them, if they don't want to do it, they simply won't. But we end up exhausting ourselves trying to convince someone who was never going to do it in the first place, and then we start thinking, maybe this isn't going to work for me. That's how it ends up. There are people all over the world ready to use Atomy products, and many who can succeed through the Atomy business. They are everywhere. We just need to find the ones who are genuinely interested and find them quickly. That means we've got to meet a lot of people. So don't waste your energy, keep it light. I move with confidence so that others start to wonder, why is that person working with such joy? Got it? That's how you stay persistent and see it through to the end. For example, in golf, if you try to hit the ball hard to send it far, it won't go far at all. You've got to completely relax. Only then, with a light swing, will the ball really fly. It's the same with Atomy. When you share it lightly, effortlessly, someone will come to you, curious and wanting something different from what they are currently doing. That's the person you grab hold of and run with. That's how you go far. By all means, you've got to see it through to the end. But if you cling to someone who's not interested and just wrestle with them, you'll end up drained and discouraged. Walk through the open doors. Don't waste your energy trying to force open closed ones. When you meet enough people, you'll find those who've been waiting for a business like Atomy, people who are genuinely interested. You've got to go out and find those people. Keep your heart strong. And from there, since you're all leaders and business builders, always remember this. If you work on the Atomy business without setting clear goals, your progress will be painfully slow. Many people do Atomy, but some work with a clear goal, whether it's every 15 days, every week, or every single day, while others don't. But those who work with a goal in mind, they inevitably gain momentum. For those of you here today, your goal shouldn't just be a mastership. You need to decide by when you'll achieve it. For example, if you plan to reach Sales Master by a certain date and Diamond Master by another, you're mapping out those goals in your life scenario, right? You've all written your life scenario, right? In truth, with Atomy, it's the individuals who should be setting their own goals, but the company strongly emphasizes the life scenario lecture to guide you, helping you define those goals for yourselves. But after setting that goal, you need to break it down, figure out what you need to do each day to reach it. And once you've set that goal, you must not break it yourself. The goals you set must not be broken by you. You have to make a conscious effort to stick to them. Put your life on the line for it. Of course, you'll have goals related to your position, but you also need to set goals for your actions. For example, if you're working through Course A, then listening to lectures and reading books, you need to set those goals for yourself. If you've decided to read for 15 minutes a day, then consistently sticking to that is, in a way, training to achieve your goals. And if that becomes a habit and your passion starts to rise, you might say, right, I'm going to share Atomy with at least 2 or 3 people every single day, no matter what. That's a goal you can set for yourself, isn't it? Since I'm running this business, I'll commit to generating at least 10,000 or even 20,000 points every single day on my own. That's a goal too, isn't it? In my case, in the early days, there was no one else but me, so it was up to me to make it happen in the beginning. For example, let's say I decided to generate 10,000 points a day. But my goal was to pass it on to someone, to generate my own points, and then deliver them to someone else. But I forgot, and I didn't get it done. So what should I do? What do you think I should have done? I had to sell it to myself, even if it came to that. Because I couldn't get out there and make it happen. What's important here is that if I keep breaking the promises I've made to myself, I start to believe that I can't do it. So, all of you need to set your goals, and as you work through them one by one, give yourself credit for it. Hey, if you keep that up, you can succeed with Atomy. Keep telling yourself, you did this, so you can succeed. That's the kind of praise you need to give yourself. In the end, It all comes down to how many people you've met. Your sales and the scale of your business will grow accordingly. So start tracking the number of people you meet and how many you share the products with. Turn those into measurable goals and manage them. I've been emphasizing from the very beginning that each of you is running your own business. You are the owner of this business. You're the CEO. Now, have you ever seen a company run without having any goals? Exactly. That's how crucial it is to have your goals clearly set in your mind. It can mean the difference between success and failure. For people with goals, end up helping those who do have goals. For example, even among people working at a company, imagine two types. One who says, I'm doing my absolute best because I have a goal to become the boss, and another who's just there to collect a paycheck as time passes. Then, just like I mentioned earlier, all those people without goals end up working for the person who's charging forward with a clear purpose. There are countless people doing Atomy. Some are doing it with a clear goal, while others are just passing the time, vaguely thinking, someone good will come along in Atomy eventually. So, with all these people involved in Atomy, in the end, as time goes on, they end up supporting the ones who are moving forward with a clear goal. Do you know why that is? In Atomy, while countless people give it a go, the ones with a clear goal keep pushing through to the end. And although a huge number of people end up quitting, they still continue using Atomy products. According to current statistics, 90% of registered Atomy members are consumers. There are a lot of people who quit their Atomy business in the middle. They've become incredibly loyal consumers who make outstanding voluntary repurchases. Why do you think that happened? It all comes down to one thing. Did you do Atomy with a clear goal, or did you just go through the motions? A professional who uses Atomy as a tool to achieve success will always set clear goals and pursue them. On the other hand, those who don't are just drifting in and out, unsure whether to give Atomy a go or not, wandering around like drifters. So, some people say people are not professionals, but prisoners of indecision. Others call them Atomy drifters. If you set things up properly with Atomy, you can earn $100,000 a month lifelong, and that income can continue to grow for up to 3 generations of your grandchildren. It's a huge business that allows for inheritance. You've now encountered the one and only opportunity in the world where an individual can become wealthy through a platform business. An opportunity that shares this chance with everyone. How can you possibly run such an enormous business of your own without having a clear goal? How can this business succeed like that? That's why Imperial Master Lee Doug-Woo said that trying to do Atomy without a goal is a complete waste of time. Why is that? Because without a goal, that person will eventually quit and just remain a consumer. But when I say this, they insist, no way, that's not me. I would never quit a business like this. They say they'll stick with it to the end. Sure, maybe they can. And I say, all right, but whether you'll become a successful business person or just a consumer, I can't say for sure. They say they'll go all the way with Atomy, and unless they are a fool, they'll realize while studying that even just being a consumer is profitable. So, since you've come here to do business and make money, if we sum up everything we've talked about so far, it means you've got to keep going with relentless drive. I am going to earn 100 grand, no matter what. No matter what anyone says, I'm going to make it. That's the kind of energy you need to bring up within yourself, even if it's beyond your current ability in your mind. Imagine earning 100 grand a month passively, without even working, and it just keeps flowing into your account. Not from a pension or some government handout, but through your own ability, doing what you want when you want. Being able to travel whenever the mood strikes. Once that vision takes hold in your mind, of course your thinking goes into overdrive. It becomes an obsession. The very fact that you've come across Atomy, this is the greatest stroke of luck in your life. I've spent years working in major corporations. I've invested massive amounts of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, into businesses. But the passive income I'm now receiving from Atomy, over $40,000 a month after 11 years, has been the biggest and the easiest for me. So even I sometimes can't believe it. Is this the result of my work? Is this real? But it keeps growing. If I reach top rank in a few years, I'll be making $100,000 monthly. That means the income will keep coming in up to 100 years. So if even I can hardly believe it, how could someone around me, who doesn't even know about it, possibly believe it? Even I, who've built this, find it hard to believe. So how could you, who haven't built it yet, believe it right now? So, what you're doing with Atomy doesn't end with what seems logical or ordinary to you right now. What you're doing actually looks completely irrational to others. That's why it's only natural that people around you don't understand. But if you can say yes to that and actually enjoy it, then you can have fun with this business right from the start. So when you keep talking like that, of course the people around you are going to say you're crazy. But it's exactly that crazy that leads you to success. If you start calculating everything and keep talking in a logical, conventional way, and people begin to believe you, then your chances of success actually go down. It's true that you need to be a little crazy, but even if you're not, pretending to be can spark curiosity and draw people to you. That's a skill you need to master. So rather than waiting until you're fully prepared, just give it a go, explain what you're doing, and simply get started. Especially when it comes to explaining this business, even the STP in practice. Try practicing how to explain the compensation program as well. In a way, if you think about it, you end up doing nothing if you keep trying to be perfect. But as you keep repeating it, you'll get used to it and naturally get better. And once you truly want to do well, you'll start finding ways to make it happen. I told myself I have to do this business. The moment I made that firm decision, I realized the problem was with me. When I really thought about it, I'm just not someone who can sell products easily. And I didn't think I could go around begging people to sign up as members either. So then, what should I do? But as I kept learning, I realized even if I can't do those things, if someone who's good at selling products, or someone who's great at signing up members joins, that still counts as my achievement. And when I thought about it, I realized that if I just study this well, I could actually teach others, give lectures and things like that. I needed to focus on what I'm good at. So I listened to countless lectures from top trainers over and over again. And then I started recording myself while giving lectures. That way, I could hear what I was saying, catch the parts one was doing wrong. I kept noticing things like, I shouldn't be managing my time like that. It was through that kind of practice that I really improved. So when you're working on this business, don't overthink it. Don't say, this won't work because of this or that. Just give it a go. You learn by doing. You try something out, and it turns out you're better than you thought. You assumed you weren't good at sales, but once you started talking, the words just flowed, and suddenly you're closing sales with ease. Then you might think, I should specialize in this. That's totally possible. And there are so many people who thought they couldn't teach well, but after a bit of practice, they realized, wow, I had no idea I was this good at giving lectures. So don't overanalyze, just give it a go and discover your strengths along the way. Keep in mind, if your goal is to earn $100,000 a month, then focus on what you're good at. Find your talent with the mindset of honing in on your strengths. Right now. To be honest, in a way, I ended up coming to Australia and New Zealand almost by chance. Truly, I don't have a partner here, and to be honest, I felt the pace here was a bit too slow. I'm a business person. Because of the slower pace, this region was never really on my radar. But then, I ended up coming here as a substitute in November 2023. Originally, Crown Park was supposed to come, but she had to be hospitalized, and there was no one else available to fill in, so I came instead. Even then, what I felt when I arrived was that the leaders, both the branch director of the Australian branch and here, had a clear vision. So I ended up making a promise, didn't I? I'd return when I'm crown. What I'm about to say, this part is for you to hear. I was building up to lead into this message. Listen carefully. From here on, this is where it really matters. This is the message I want to give you all. I truly believe that someone here will hear my story, have a change of mindset, and completely change their life. Raise your hand. I am that person. My thinking has changed, and now I'm ready to give the Atomy business a real go. Even if there's just one person who feels this way, that's enough for me. It doesn't even have to be my partner. How amazing is that? If you truly need to earn $100,000, and you have a clear reason why you must earn that $100,000, then from this moment on, you should rewrite your list. People to invite. If not now, chances in 2 months, what are you going to do? Should I even pay that person just to bring them here? Or should I even threaten them to get them to come? These kinds of thoughts just start flooding in. All of you, you've said, I want to change my life by changing the way I think. That's what you said, right? But what actions are you actually taking? Like I said earlier, I truly hope that even just one person becomes someone who takes real action. What kind of person is that? Let's start making calls right now, today. My goal, I'm going to reach this many people. But here's the thing. Even if you think it's not going to work, once your mindset shifts, everything changes. All of you, it's not that you can't do it, it's just that you haven't spoken up. If you go back through your contact list and reach out to every local person you know and say, hey, there's this amazing seminar happening. If you're free, you should come check it out. Give it a go, try it out. Pick a few people, give them a call, go see them in person. But don't say, you have to come because I'm doing this business. Instead, spark their curiosity. The goal is just to get them to come once. That's the key right there. Just like we talked about earlier, someone raised their hand, right? Whether you take action or not, that's the difference between having truly made up your mind or not. It's not about vaguely thinking, I should probably do something. That's not enough. Maybe up until now, you've been thinking, if I invite them and they come, great. If not, oh well. But after hearing this today, you should be thinking, no, I need to change my mindset. This time, I'm going to give it everything I've got. So what you need to do is, as soon as this meeting ends, go back to your list and start making those calls. After this seminar, I hope that someone hears what I've said and picks up the phone and invites someone to take part in changing a life. That moment, when I ask who made that call, I hope to see hands go up. When you reach out to someone you never even considered before, that's when history begins. When I look at my list, the people who actually listen to me, the ones I think of, I only reached out to the people I thought absolutely had to be here. But after hearing this, I realized even wealthy individuals and professionals, people who might actually be interested in platform businesses these days, people I never thought would be interested, I made the call to them too. And it turns out that very person you never imagined would understand gets Atomy. So think of someone on your list or someone around you and give them a call. See what kind of change unfolds. Okay, whether that person shows up or not, that's not what matters. What matters is your mindset. Test yourself. Do I truly want to succeed? Or maybe I've truly gone mad. Or maybe I just want to go mad for this. Like I said earlier, whether or not you actually make that call to someone, anyone, that's something only you can check for yourself. It's the difference between truly raising your hand earlier or just wanting to look like you did. What matters is that you make the call. Whether that person shows up or not doesn't matter. But you hesitate to call because you're afraid they won't come. I used to be like that too, so I get it. But you've got to push past that. If someone comes to mind, speak up. Whether they come or not, it's not what matters. What matters is whether or not you spoke up. Teamwork is about individual egos, yes. But this is a business where true success comes through teamwork. You can't succeed on your own. To put it simply, teamwork means the success of the person next to you. Of course, it's your responsibility to take good care of the members on your left and right within your group. Because I need to succeed in this business, right? But even someone who has nothing to do with me. A line under my sponsor, a completely unrelated sibling line, their success is also considered teamwork. What does that mean? You're running your own business, but you're also connected to your sponsor. And when one of your sponsor's lines does well, does that benefit me? Then I should help that person succeed. If one of my sponsor's lines doesn't do well and they don't make money, they won't be able to support me. That's a loss for me, isn't it? So even if I'm not directly connected, that line under my sponsor also needs to succeed for it to benefit me. So when you go to a center, there are plenty of people who only look after their own line and act cold towards others they are not directly connected to. Right? But at some centers, even if you're not connected at all, they still greet you warmly and with genuine enthusiasm. Because imagine this, if someone who's not in your line shows up, and you act cold or distant just because they are not connected to you, and that person ends up feeling hurt and stops coming altogether because of you. Since that person is new and probably feeling nervous, just one careless word from someone could hurt them deeply and make them never come back. Now, if I were the one who experienced that kind of treatment, how do you think I'd react when an important partner of that person shows up? So, even though this Atomy business is my own business, if I only think about myself and move forward alone, in the end, it becomes a setback for the overall team. That's why, when you look at the bigger picture, maintaining my mastership might not seem to benefit me directly at times, but if it appears to help the sponsor above me, then even if it has nothing to do with my own mastership, choosing to participate, that's what true teamwork is. In the moment, it might feel like I'm taking a loss, but in the long run, this mindset of teamwork brings even greater rewards. If I'm aiming for $100,000 a month, then that's the path I need to take. That's the direction I must follow. Right, John Maxwell said this. Success requires a little courage, commitment, and teamwork. So in the end, just like I said at the beginning, true success is never something you can achieve alone. So in Atomy's network marketing, there's a concept you won't find in any other network, something unbelievable called resymbiotic cooperation. Yes, you're running your own business for your own success, but in the end, the key to achieving the greatest success lies in embracing the spirit of teamwork. Even if it feels like you're taking a bit of a loss, you still choose to take part. That's what teamwork is, and ultimately, you need to understand that it's something you're doing for your own benefit. And finally, like I mentioned earlier, you must manage your goals, but don't settle for something mediocre. Set a goal you know you can achieve, and treat it like your life depends on it. When you approach it that way, there's no way you won't reach that goal. That's the mindset you need. Keep managing your goals until it becomes a habit. Now, moving forward with your goals, at this stage, each of you needs to set your own goals. But today's goal is this: how many people can I invite? And get to show up on Saturday. That's your goal. And from there, among your leaders, share stories like, I heard that message, acted on it, and someone showed up, and now look where I am. Create an atmosphere where you share those experiences and inspire each other to do the same. I invited someone back then, and now I've become a royal master. That kind of story needs to come out like a testimony. Because someone who's crazy is bound to do incredibly well in Atomy. When we say Atomy is crazy, what does that really mean? It means having your own world. I'm someone who's going to earn 100K a month. So what's the problem? Be crazy. And just meeting people and talking to them, that's the Atomy business. If today you've got no one to call and invite, then what do you do? If you are crazy, you walk into every shop you pass and say, there's an amazing seminar happening today. Want to come check it out? That's how you've got to speak. Walk into a stylish clothing store, buy a new outfit, and say, thanks a lot. I have a great business, and someone from Seoul is coming. Let's go. That's how you spark interest. All right. That's all from me. Thank you.